Good morning everyone, my name is Pavan. I could see I am a kind of an odd man out of this whole community of the people who are present here. So I belong to a different segment. We are neither academicians nor administrators, we are rather people from the corporate. So we actually are into IT development, skill development, we are into a skill development company. Okay. So I'll try to give brief about what we are trying to do, there are certain projects at an organization level we are trying to do, and what is that we have understood and what models can be evolved through that. So we are partner of CIPS and we have been working closely with them in different models. I'll try to present what are the models which we are working as well. Okay. So bear with me for 10 minutes, I'll try to be quick and try to be more interactive. So this is what we have thought from our side, being a company who is into skill development, we are into the corporate side who is finding difficult for the right kind of people to be adopted, to be taken into the corporate. Certain issues or challenges which are there across the strata, and since we are talking about the context of tribal people, these are in a way are becoming very big problems. I'll start with the first one. Yes, there are a lot of schemes, plans that have been planned, proposed by the government, various schemes by the industry as well through CSR programs. The academicians as well are coming up with different models. But at the end of the day, though they have been implemented, the impact they are supposed to be creating at the end eventually is livelihood, creating a livelihood, creating a job opportunity or opportunity to earn money is not happening at the same pace. This we felt is the biggest challenge that is happening right now. This is the point number one we have taken. And then when we go in deep and try to understand why this is happening is the aptness of a skill imparting, a training program, a kind of any scheme as such, they have put skilling as such, any scheme that has been proposed or implemented, a particular for a set of people is not apt to their needs. So I felt very happy because I have been there in the session since yesterday. There are quite a few speakers, in fact very reputed and well-known people, experienced people who have been talking about how the programs that have been implemented not in line with what the requirements is. I could see that and things which sir as well has spoken. So this aptness has become very key even at the program implementation level, because they have been undergoing the program, at the end of the day they are not happy. So what it is resulting in? Conversion of enrollment to a certification, since I am talking about a skill, but as such any program, to finally resulting in an employment or a livelihood is not happening the way it is supposed to be happening. There is a lot of dropouts. The way we talk about school dropouts, the program dropouts has been very rampant. I am sure if there are any government officials who have been monitoring schemes, they would agree with me with the kind of one of the biggest problem which there is there. And the next important thing is mobilization itself. With people being so scattered, they are not there in a particular location, easily able to capture, and again in line with their requirement, in line with the program. The mobilization has become a very big problem for any program to be implemented and making them understand why the program is relevant for them. The overall cycle itself, because once they adopt, once they accept this is need of the hour for them, then the final implementation will be very successful. We need not really push them to be attending the program, we need not push them to be taking it up seriously, they will be taking it up by themselves. That's what we believe in. And finally the important thing is the policy making, the planning is happening on the sample data. I'm sure it's a kind of a very big statement when I'm talking before academicians, research people, because they rely on the sample data. Of course, how detailed the sample data is, that will decide the output of the program. But being a corporate people, what we believe in, we should be working on the actual data. So yes, the problem of capturing the actual data, complete data becomes a very big problem, because the amount of data will be huge. But with the kind of data analytics that are happening right now, data science being growing right now, we don't see a big problem there with that, because with the Amazon, IBM, Watsons of the day who are working on that, we can really turn around with respect to these solutions. So today we are trying to do these of the points. These are the points which we really wanted to talk quickly, and to address this, what is the model we are trying to propose. That's what we are trying to do here. So before me going further, let me give you brief about what we are, what kind of organization we are, what we have done So we actually are a decade-old organization working in the area of IT, skill development, software development, and we understand the exact training needs of a graduate, of a student, of an aspirant who is looking for a next level of career aspirations. So we have been working closely in that. So we have been associated with National Skill Development Corporation, we have been associated with our Center of Innovation for Public Systems, we have been associated with AP State Government, Telangana State Government. We have been working on all different skill missions happening through government at different state level and at a center level. So if you can just move on. So these are the partners we are. I would like to talk about the UNDP program. We actually are the UNDP implementation partner for Telangana state, and the model which I am talking today is predominantly based on the what model we have been implementing with UNDP across Telangana state. So and then there is the presence across the country we have. We are now, this is basically because the opportunity we got to present before you all is because of CIPS and MAM. So these are the associations, these are the plans which we have, which we are working through. We are trying to work on aspiration and skill analysis, connecting the youth to the right career opportunity. In fact, the model which we are trying to present today is basically on that. And then building a labor management system for better governance, skill development programs, trying to connect, because today the last mile delivery is the order of the day for any corporate. They no longer see reaching the urban people is the key for the growth of them, because they are reaching their saturation levels. They wanted to reach out to the rural people, to the last mile. That is where we can really tap the people, the talent which is there in the rural level, completely at a last mile level, and use them as a delivery persons across that particular community. That's where we are trying to come up with a model of e-Podosi through which we can really connect to them. That's still in the advanced stage, and we are of course the technology partner for the CIPS. Now, let me directly get into what we are trying to propose here. We are trying to propose a career guidance and counseling centers. I know I'm not talking something new. It is not something new which I'm talking about. Only the approach, only the way we are trying to do is the differentiating factor. Because I know there are quite a few programs which have been attempted in that. We wanted to utilize that existing network and setup which is there right now and try to do the process. Now, the basic heart of this program is the skill versus aspirational exercise, which we call. What we mean by skill versus aspirational exercise is, there have been quite a few programs, quite a few methodologies that have been evolved over the year, where an individual skill has been assessed, evaluated or imparted through programs. But what we feel is lacking is, when the skill has been evaluated, it is evaluated with a preconceived notion. Preconceived notion that, let me check whether he suits a IT industry, whether he suits a job of a manager, whether he suits a job of a clerk, whether he suits a job of a receptionist, or whether he suits a job of a simple village officer, whatever it is. So everywhere there's a preconceived notion without really understanding what is that individual is aspiring for. Now the whole exercise which we are trying to do is, it is not just to do the skill assessment, understand the aspiration part of the individual and try to connect skill and the aspiration of the individual and then try to do that. If you can go on. This is what we are trying to do. So move on. So this is what we call as onboarding process. The onboarding process is where we will need support from the education system. If it is talking about outside the education system, like the dropouts or the passouts or the upgrade graduates, the YTC centers which we have under ITDA, the existing institutions, be it the ashram schools, be it the residential schools or the colleges who are catering to the needs of the people. They are the people through whom we will try to identify all the people across this category of people and then try to do a skill versus aspiration exercise for them. Go to the next one. This is what we are trying to do. When we are trying to do a skill versus aspiration exercise, it is a detailed analysis through a psychometric analysis, an aptitude test, language and a domain. And I am talking about, though the names are big, it is very much specific to the audience who are going to be attending the program. Because we clearly understand a graduate's assessment should be in a different level from a 10th passed out or a kind of a very semi-literate or a completely illiterate who have a natural skill. So once that is done, it is not just the assessment which we are trying to do, we are trying to gather the information of the individual at a personal, social, economical information and try to do an aspirational exercise. Once we have this information, this is where our centers will come into picture, where we are going to have a guidance and counseling. Because what we have seen is, there are quite a few opportunities which have been already available, which have been created by the existing system. But how much of that information is passed on to these people in a right way, by motivating them, by making them understand that this particular need of yours is scattered by this particular system. That connection is what is really missing. If we can really do that part using a very systematic manner, making them realize, because like the information is already available, that is there, but the exercise of making them understand that this information is relevant for them is the key here. Once we do that and then make them understand that this particular scheme, it could be a simple training program of a mobile repair. It could be a simple program of making him kind of a village health officer. But at the end of that, we have to identify who can suit that particular job, who can become that change agent for that particular village and make them do that, and through them try to pick that. For that, the exercise should happen, and it has to happen on a regular basis or a continuous basis. So what we do once we have the data, this is what we are trying to do, basing on the aspirations, skills required, jobs required, information required, careers opted. Because apart from taking the information from the individual, there is a parallel exercise which should happen, which we do at a what you call opportunity side level. We try to do the analysis of understanding various programs, job opportunities, not necessarily at a urban level, at a local level, at a very within their village level, what are the various options that are available, and try to connect them there. Because one thing we really understand is, especially for the tribal and the rural people, they coming out to the city and do an urban place and then getting settled there for a meager job of 5,000 or 10,000 is a big thing. Instead of that, you give them 5,000 within their place, they'll be more than happy. So that is what we have to understand and connect. And then across the sector, across the geography and gender, we are trying to do this analysis. Once we have this data, then the analysis starts. We try to go and talk to each and every people who can give them that opportunity, connect them to them. It is that cycle which happens both at a seekers level, who is actually looking for a better opportunity, at the providers level, who is trying to provide better opportunities, who is also finding it difficult to have right kind of people. So this is trying to do an exercise where from both sides we are trying to do the analysis and try to connect them both. That's what we are trying to do. So this is what we try to do. We provide the information of the government schemes, of the job opportunities, career opportunities through these centers to the people and make them really understand what are the various options that are available, and then try to help them choose. So when we are talking about this kind of exercise at a scale, we cannot do it without using the intervention of a technology. That's where the technology comes into picture. We are going to build a platform and which can really do the assessment part, counseling part, do the connector. It will become the skill connector, corporate connector. Even we are trying to talk with a lot of corporates who are trying to pledge their mentors for a connect. So this is what the outcomes which we are actually looking at. The basic outcome which we are looking at is identification of readily employable resources. This is one surprising outcome, because this whole exercise which I am talking about right now, we are doing it for 25,000 girl students across Telangana government degree colleges, where we are trying to do a skill assessment, understand their aspiration, and trying to connect them to the corporates. We are doing this exercise. We have already completed counseling for almost 8,000 people, and the remaining people we are in the process. And we could really generate more than 1,500 job leads which we are trying to connect it to these people. And when we are trying to do this exercise, one important thing which we have understood is, there are quite a few people who are easily employable with a minimal, minimal job ready skills, minimal grooming. So that is where, then you not really go through that scheme where each of the government officers spend 18,000 to 20,000 to 25,000 sometimes. There's a lot of benefit, cost benefit there actually. Unnecessary cost would reduce. The right program for the right candidate, that will obviously improve the conversion ratio right from the enrollment to the employment part. Mobilization as such, there are quite a few skill development programs that are happening across the departments. If we can really provide this information to them, that will be a lot of headache taken out of them, so that they can directly focus on implementation of the program. Government policy making, I would say, would happen now on the actual data rather than actually happening on a sample data. This is what we are trying to do. In fact, we are at the very high initial level of talks with ITDA project officer Sitampet to do a pilot project there. So again, ma'am has helped us to connect, CIPS has helped us to connect to Sitampet project officer. We are trying to do a project there, trying to implement it for the tribal youth there in that Sitampet center. It was Mr. Shiva who actually has done the presentation yesterday, who has been very proactive in taking up the things there. So this is the program which we are trying to do, because we could see there is a huge gap here. Wherever there are opportunities, the opportunities are not presented in the right way for the seeker. He has been not treated with respect, I would say, because as a person, as a learner, I should want to be at the center of the complete exercise. I don't want to be like a person who is thrown off something and then have to take whatever that is available for me, provided to me. So this is kind of like trying to do the democratization in the overall exercise.
Thank you.